All right, we are live, you guys, and we will be right back with our commercial. We are back. Hello, 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 you guys. All right, we are live and in living color. Make sure I'm looking at the right place. Okay, right there. All right, and I wanted to say welcome to Andrea Goodman. She's a new member. So, Andrea, I know you've been checking out some of the goodies that are behind the scenes for our members, and we welcome you. All right, you guys, I got a few announcements that I had to write. I have to start writing this stuff down so I won't forget. First of all, every Friday we have our orientation, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time via Zoom. And you can catch that at newstatusnewlife.com. The registration is right there. It's free. All right. We're trying to educate as many people as we can about what is going on to give them an understanding. Don't forget, we have a new website. All right. Right there as well. www.newstatusnewlife.com. All right. Got to make sure I get it straight myself. And if you are on Facebook, if you are following me on Facebook, do not accept any friend requests. I guess I've come up in the world a little bit because when people start trying to imitate you, okay, that's when the problems begin. So I have not, my pages are open, you guys, so don't need to even do friend requests. Everything is right there. All right. So don't accept any friend requests from me. Please, 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 if you would, report them. Okay. Thank you so much. And we are in the middle right now of our land patent class, teaching how to get a allodial title for those who are ASNs, American State Nationals. Your status is corrected. Okay. And we are in the process now of gearing up our new session that will begin February 22nd. That will be our first orientation. And we're going to be meeting the entire month of March, every Saturday for the month of March. Okay. So again, our orientation will kick off February 22nd, and then we will come back and meet all the 4 Saturdays in March. All right. So you'll get more information about that. If you did not get the opportunity to join our session this time, you guys, it has gone so well. I can't even put into words. I knew that the land patent class was going to be, pretty decent. I knew we were going to be able to start educating people on how to truly own your land and your homes. But it has gone so well that it's even shocking me. So if you have not had an opportunity to check us out, please, please, please do so. Okay. You can get to the land and soil property group link again from newstatusnewlife.com. Everything is right there. All right. We'll be sending out an email real soon to everyone who subscribes to that website to let you know that our new class, our new orientation, everything is starting. All right, that's all of my announcements. Now let's get to the nitty gritty. So can you tell that there has been a corporation squeeze? I call it a Python squeeze. Can you tell that as we have entered 2025, that there has been a squeeze that is going on? That means that they're starting to rev up on a lot of their corporate negativity, shall I say. Now I want to say this, and we are on we're in YouTube land. So I have to be careful how I say things, but just listen to what I'm saying and try to connect the dots, okay? Before the hurricanes even started, there were some that were on social media mentioning about this big hurricane that was going to come forth and that was going to cover the entire state of Florida. It was no secret. The information was out there. This was way before it happened. Okay. Now I told you guys that I used to work at Siesta Key, which was considered the #1 beach in the United States, number 11 in the world, selling multi-million dollar homes there when I was in real estate. For those that know my story, you know I let all of that go because I realized and learned truth. Okay. It was a very, very high priced area. That was the entryway of the hurricanes. Not one time, twice. Okay. A year before that, I can't remember. I don't know if it's 20, I think it was 2021 or 2022. I think it was 2022. I had the opportunity to take my family to Asheville, North Carolina to see what is that mansion there? I can't remember the name of the mansion. If you remember the mansion, put it in the comments. Oh, why can't I remember the name of that beautiful mansion? Anyway, the mansion that's there, I'm sure it'll come back to me. I took my family there to visit, and beautiful, 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 beautiful. All right, I better Google that mansion. Give me a second. I don't know why I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, while I'm looking it up, I do remember there was this little Christmas shop that sat right in like the center of town. And when I saw pictures from the flooding, okay, that little Christmas shop was underwater. And I remember that little Christmas shop very vividly because I actually wanted to go because I understood that they had very good pricing for Christmas items. And when I saw that picture, I knew exactly. What Biltmore Estate. Okay, I knew exactly the height and the positioning of that. Another very sought after area. Okay, around that Biltmore Estate area, and all of that underwater. Okay, so we've come from Siesta Key, the Florida area, over to North Carolina. And I don't want to skip over some areas in Georgia, okay, that also experienced some extreme flooding on that coastal line, okay. So we got the coastal line, okay, from the west side of Florida. We done skipped over, went over to the coast of Georgia, and we done skipped over again and went over to the west side of North Carolina. Now, we also heard before it happened that California was going to experience some fires. I don't know how this stuff gets on the internet and social media before it actually happens, but it does. We didn't know where in LA, but we knew before that some people were dropping in social media that these things were going to happen. Now, LA, the Palisades are burning. And then we got different fires happening in different locations, even Hollywood Hills, that's on a completely different side. And how is this happening? Oh, by the wind. Okay. Well, the wind. Okay, all of a sudden the wind is lighting these fires. People, it's time to wake up. I'm not going to say any more than that. It is time to wake up. When I tell you it's time to wake up, it is time to wake up and get an understanding of what is really going on. And I want to put that up. Thank you again, Andrea Goodman, and welcome as our new member. But you guys, you have to wake. It just comes a point that you just got to ask yourself, what is really making sense here? Okay. All of these high price areas, not understanding even the tracks of how some of this stuff is happening. It's jumping over here, it's jumping over there. Okay, so when you become status corrected, you begin to get information, you begin to have knowledge. Again, can't say anything out here too much, but in our school, we are dropping stuff like crazy. Trust me, we're dropping extreme information to give very thorough and very thorough understanding of some of this information to be on guard and to be ready. All right. And so I'm not going to say too much with that because, again, I don't want my channel taken down, okay? But I want you to start waking up and putting one and one together. Now, today I want to talk about jurisdiction. I want to revisit this area. If you're in the school, I already posted some information about that, but it is important that you understand that word jurisdiction. When you understand the word jurisdiction, you understand the power that lies in that word, okay? You have to volunteer someone to have jurisdiction over you because by right, no one has jurisdiction over you because there's a realm called spiritual jurisdiction that has already been laid out in the Bible that they have considered is the word of truth. Okay? I mean, it's already there. There is a foundational decree that has already been made on what is jurisdiction. A lot of people don't know how to articulate the spiritual realm jurisdiction because, again, you have to stand on it, you have to quote it, and you have to have those documents showing that you have come out of their jurisdiction and you step back into the realm of which you were born. But a lot of people are afraid or they don't know, or it's something going on mentally here. And they call it cognitive dissonance, where you can see the truth, but you can't connect to it because it is so ingrained on you not to believe. Case in point, The Wizard of Oz, The Cowardly Lion. Okay, all of this stuff comes into play. So I want to read something to you. And again, if you're in the school, you've already seen it, but I want to read it to you guys because I want you to understand. And we're going to have a little bit of discussion on it. It said, "Did you know in ancient law, the land and soil have a perpetual union whereby they are inseparable and bound?" If you're in my Friday night orientation classes, you know we go deep talking about the fraud. We go deep in understanding how the fraud begins at birth. If you don't know, go to newstatusnewlife.com and go over where I have the dead baby scam. I have all of the information right there. Just read it, okay? Land jurisdiction recognizes lawful people, soil, and our lawful person, people, land as bound because this union is obligatory. All right. Between us and the other jurisdictional realms of the sea and air, there lies a hidden veil, also known as the bar. It's a hidden veil, you guys, that separates us from the sea and the air. The land is protected by this secret bar. And so you have to understand there's power in being on the land. Now, I know in here we're using the word people and person, and we know that in their jurisdiction that represents corporation because they brought that word over into that. But I want you to consider or state in your mind natural man, natural woman. All right. When we cross this, we are voluntarily incorporating, contracting, because there is no obligation to operate in this realm. There's no obligation to operate in a sea jurisdiction or an air jurisdiction. You're not obligated to do it. You go over there voluntarily, okay? We aren't bound naturally, so we cannot be forced into these realms. I can't state that enough. You are not bound naturally. You're not bound naturally. Okay. Hey, Angeline, how are you? Okay. So you have to understand, I say this all the time, you have to understand who you are. We're born on the land. We live on the land. We have been given authority on the land as given by the word of God. Okay. And you have to take your authority back that was snatched from you at birth when you're living as a corporate entity that you are not. Did you know the word jurisdiction means the right to speak to an issue related to the fundamental biblical law of kinds? This maintains the natural order of law. So again, everything starts in that biblical law jurisdiction. That's where it begins, okay? The spiritual realm, the spiritual jurisdiction is the top jurisdiction of them all. So if you don't know who you are, you don't know that's where you live, okay? Hey, Antoinette, how are you? That's where you live. That's where we dwell. But again, if you allow them to pull you in and you volunteer to go, that's the thing. You volunteer to go. You can stand on your square and defend that space. That is not you. I don't care if they ignore. I don't care if they act like, you are supposed to. No, you are not. Okay. But it's how you walk. It's how you begin to articulate who you are and decide if you're even going to allow them to pull you in. I tell you all the time that if you're in some situations where it's getting very sticky, okay, especially with these lower level courts or what have you, then just take them to federal court and be done with it. Let them articulate all of their same at the lower level, at the higher level, because I can promise you the federal courts are not going to mess around with this. They're not going to play any games with it. All right. Let's see what's going on in the comments. Hi, Shiloh. How are you? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How are you? I am well. Hey, Harrison. Go, Dr. Sherry. All right. All right, you guys. So I wanted to spend a little time again talking about the importance of jurisdiction. I want you to go back and revisit that. I want you to go back and have an understanding of what that is, because understanding that jurisdiction, that comes into play in every area of your corporate fiction, your straw man's life. You heard what I said now, okay? That jurisdiction comes into play and with your straw man's life. So you need to know how to navigate that straw man and not be pulled into the straw man's mess, okay? That is so important to have an understanding of what's going on with that, because if you don't know, you'll be pulled in trying to operate from the straw man's point of view when you're not the straw man. That is not you, okay? That is not you. Hey, Cicely. Okay. All right. Hey, Felita. Everybody popping in today. All right, you guys. So I wanted to talk about that spiritual jurisdiction, and with us having an understanding of clearly who we are and how that J word is so important. So the first thing, if you're entering any type of court situation, if you're entering any type of bill situation, if you're, old bill, the first thing that has to be solidified is jurisdiction. Do they actually have jurisdiction over you? Okay. Do they actually have the in the space of being able to even communicate with you? That is so important, and making that point there. All right. Very important. Yes. All right. Billy, Mama Bear. Thank you for making it plain on jurisdiction. Yes, because this is where a lot of us are getting tangled up and tied up. This is where a lot of us are not truly getting an understanding of who we are. We're being pulled into mess and then we're becoming, let me talk about fear before I get off of here. Oh my gosh, you guys, listen, I can tell every time the corporate entities are closing in with their Python squeeze, because every last bit of communication that I have blows up. My assistants that help me, they cover the phone number, they cover the emails for me, my social media. I can tell when they're doing this, they're Python squeeze, because people begin to get afraid and they start contacting us like crazy. Okay. Listen, you guys, you cannot be afraid. I'm going to say it again. And listen, I was there. I was at a point where I was afraid, but then I had to conquer that fear. And I understand now that my fear was coming in not understanding. When I started studying, when I started understanding this stuff, the fear went away. So every time I am faced with somebody who is afraid, who is scared, who is asking, I don't know what to do, I know right off the bat, you're not studying. Because once you start to study this stuff, you begin to shut it down. You begin to shut it down left and right. There's nothing you can say to me, corporate entity. Okay. If you talk too much, I'm pulling you into federal court. Period. Okay. No, I'm not doing no administrative processes. I'm not doing any of that stuff. We're going straight there. I'm going to send you an affidavit of truth, and I'm going to have you answer some questions, because we know that an unrebutted affidavit of truth stands in law, stands as truth in law. So if you send them an affidavit of truth, asking them to answer specific questions, and you get that thing notarized and they don't respond with their answers, hey, take that affidavit of truth, and that is one of your exhibits in your lawsuit, because they are supposed to respond to it. Okay. Let me see what's going on here. Wally says, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but power, love, and sound mind. Yes, but a lot of people don't believe that. That's the problem. We're not believing that. Okay. We have to believe that. When you understand who you are, when you understand what is going on with this, you guys, I'm telling you, anybody that comes at you, even how they come at you'll be able to handle it. So this is the next thing I get. I don't know how to file a federal lawsuit. I don't even know how to begin. I'm afraid. In our school, I actually broke down the meaning of everything that's in the courtroom. When you begin to understand what everything represents and you go in there, you're going to be like, oh my goodness. Oh my God, you mean that represents that? You mean that represents that? You mean that bailiff standing there represents that? You mean that judge represents that? You mean that flag represents that? You mean the tassel from the flag? All of that has a meaning, and it has a representation of something. Okay, so you need to understand what it is and what each thing represents, because in that courtroom, you have the highest authority. When your status is corrected, your status is greater than the Supreme Court, because all of them are United States citizens and they take an oath to the British, being a part of the bar, okay? The British Accreditation Registry. It says it right there. Okay, we're not making anything up. This is what they are a member of, okay? They take an oath to it, okay? Let me see what's going on here. Let me see. Shiloh says, remarkable. Thank you. You are welcome. All right, you guys. I think I've covered everything with the court. So again, if you don't know how to do the logistics of a federal court case, that is something we can assist you with, okay? But I say it all the time. You can do it yourself if you just study. The information is right there, okay? The federal court regulation what is that book called? Federal Court FCRA, I think it's called. I don't know. Go to a federal website. It don't matter which one you go to, because the book is on all of them, okay? If you look around the nation, each one has a federal court system. And I think each state has anywhere from 2. I think the largest state has about 7 or 8. Okay. But the book is the same. All right. Just read their rule book. Just read it. Okay. When you read the rule book, it's not going to change. It tells you everything to do and how to do it. Okay. Even down to, if you're in our school, we even have the template right there to file a lawsuit. The template is right there. Now, what you may have issues with, what you're going to have to study, is the different statutes and codes that are being broken. That's why I'd love to read the UCC. I love it because everything is right there. It's so easy. It's really easy. Once you've done it one time, you just duplicate it over and over and over again. All right, you guys, that's all. I don't like these to be too long. All right. So we talked about a lot today. I've given the announcements in the beginning. We talked about that J word, jurisdiction, the importance of understanding if someone has jurisdiction, if a corporate entity has jurisdiction over you, and the answer is no, if you know who you are, okay? And don't forget, tonight, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will have our orientation. If you have somebody who is clueless about all of this, who does not know what's going on with this, they need to join us for the orientation tonight. And I allow you to ask me questions at the end of the orientation. Okay. All right. That's all I have for you today, guys. I love you much. Until next time, same place. Bye.